my beautiful bookish friends, I'm Bowen and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be filming an unhaul that is so long overdue that it is ridiculous. These have been stashed away in my boxes and hidden away all throughout my house, and it is finally time to get rid of them. So I put some of them on Vinted yesterday and some of them sold surprisingly quickly, so I will also link that in the description down below if I can work out how to do that. But for right now, I'm just trying to film this unhaul because I have to ship some of these out soon. They just gotta go. They're taking up space, they have to leave my house. So let's get into it. The first ones I plan to unhaul are these beautiful Fairy Loot editions of these Hollow Vows and these Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is a duology and like they look really pretty. These are very Sarah J Maas coded, so if you like Sarah J Maas you might like this. I just found the second one like really boring, but I also have the original hardback edition of these Hollow Vows as well, so you can actually see the difference between the Fairy Loot edition and the original cover. So I'm going to be selling all of these, so that's the first ones that I'm getting rid of. Next is the ones that have already sold, which I shouldn't be surprised this sold as quickly as it did, but I didn't really vibe with this story and I am very much the unpopular opinion here. It is the Ember in the Ashes Quartet by Sabaa Tahir. These are the beautiful Fairy Loot editions. These ones sold so quickly, but I just didn't vibe with this series. Like the first two were fine, but by the time it got to the last ones, I just didn't care anymore. So I'm hoping that the person that bought these will have a lot more love for them than I did. This next one, I feel a little bit bad about unhauling. This next one, I'm gonna unhaul because I didn't actually enjoy the book that much, but I feel really bad about it because I always feel bad about unhauling gifts. And that is A Cornish Summer at Pear Tree Farm by Angela Britnell. I got this from my friend Lauren as it was like a blind date with a book kind of thing. And she knows that I love to read, so she thought that this would be a good idea. And I love a blind date with a book. I really do. Just this book wasn't my vibe, it wasn't for me, and unfortunately the blind date was a bit of a dud. So I just feel really bad about unhauling gifts, but I only gave this 2 stars, so it's gotta go. Next is another Fairy Loot edition. This one I was so optimistic about. I really wanted to read this. I really wanted it to be good. I'd heard such good things. I ended up giving it a 1 star, and that was Master of One by Jadiah Jones and Danny Bennett. I didn't care for this. I literally forced my way through this entire book. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my vibe. I've seen so many people that really loved it, but I am not one of those people. The next books I plan to unhaul are the Children of Blood and Bone and The Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. I read the first one a while ago, but I forgot most of this when I read the second one, so the second one was just like really mid because I forgot pretty much everything that happened in the first book for me, and the third book has been taking so long to come out that I no longer care about this story. So hopefully someone else will get more enjoyment out of it. This one has the beautiful red sprayed edges. I don't have the third book and I don't care anymore. The next is another set that sold pretty quickly, and that was The Midnight Lie and The Hollow Heart by Marie Rakowski. I don't know whether or not it's a misprint. I feel like her name is meant to be embossed in gold just up here, and it's not. I don't know whether that's a misprint or not, but I really like these editions. I read this. I promise I read this. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it, so I know I just didn't vibe with it all that much, but I don't know anything about this book. I read it, but it didn't stick with me. I don't care. The next one is a book that I read in April, I believe, and that's Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan. This is a book I was really optimistic for. I bought the original book in hardcover and then I got the Fairy Loot edition, so I returned the original hardcover book. But I was really looking forward to this. I thought it sounded really, really good, but I can promise you I just didn't. I think I gave it a 3 star. It was fine. I didn't care. It's such a shame that I didn't like this because I was really looking forward to reading it, but just no. The next set I'm getting rid of is a duplicate for me, and that's the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy in the US paperbacks by Laini Taylor. I really like the original covers. This is the original US covers. The original UK covers look a little different. And I have the Illumicrate special editions now of this one, and I also have the audiobooks. I really loved this series when I read it, so I hope someone will get just as much enjoyment out of this series that I did. The next series that I have to unhaul is one that is very popular, but I just didn't vibe with like at all. And that's the Raven Boys Quartet by Maggie Stiefvater. I didn't mind the first 2 books, but they were still pretty mid by the end. I just didn't care anymore. I don't think about this series ever, so out it goes. The next book I have to unhaul is a very, very recent read. I read this one in August, and this is the one I got for my bookseller recommendation, and that was Love and Other Scams by PJ Ellis. If you like reading about shitty people and the drama of shitty people, then you might like this. It's like a romance heist story. I just don't care about the drama of shitty people's lives, so they can go be shitty elsewhere, so this was not it for me. The next book I'm getting rid of I read last year, and that's Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. I didn't really vibe with this one all that much. It's like a time travel sort of story. I didn't care for this at all, so I'm hoping someone else will enjoy it. This is, again, the very pretty Fairy Loot edition, and it's got these really beautiful end papers, which are just stunning, but I just didn't care for the story inside. That seems to be a common theme that is just kind of annoying. The next is another series that I'm getting rid of that I feel kind of bad about because it was a gift. This one was from my brother, and I did put this on my wish list because I really loved the movie for it, but it turns out I just love the movie, and that's the Scott Pilgrim series by Brian Lee O'Malley. I find that the humour from the film doesn't really translate into the graphic novels, so I think I'm just going to stick to the film from now on, and it's not very often you get to say the film was better than the book, but the film was definitely better than the book. I feel like if you like The Bachelor or Love Island or anything like that, then you might like this next duology. I don't watch any of that kind of thing, so next we have The Beholder and The Boundless by Anna Bright. If you like that kind of show and that kind of story, then you might like this. It's not my thing. It's not for me personally. I like it when there's just like one love interest, or it's like a why choose, and it's that kind of thing. Like, this was very love triangle, and I don't give a shit about love triangle. Like, just nah. The next ones that I'm getting rid of are very much like the Spoiler Alert series by Olivia Dade. If you liked that one but thought it was a little bit too adult, this is the YA version of that, and it's the Once Upon a Con series by Ashley Poston. Now, first thing about this series that really pisses me off is how much taller the first book is than the other 2, which is just, it's petty, I'm aware, but it annoys me. But the second thing, I just didn't really vibe with these books. Like, the last one is alright, but I didn't really care for the first 2, like, at all. It's very, like, celebrity meets regular person, and I don't care for that type of storyline. It's kind of mid. I liked it in Olivia Dade's series, but in this, I didn't give a fuck, to be perfectly frank. So, out it goes. This next duology is one I'm very much on the fence about, so you can 100% try and convince me in the comments down below, and that's one I read very recently. I read this in August as well, and that's the Woven in Moonlight and Written in Starlight duology. Now, this one I gave like a 3-star something. Like, I enjoyed this, I thought this was good. This one kind of annoyed me, but I don't have the capability to just unhaul the second one and just keep the first. So if I'm going to unhaul it, I'm going to unhaul both, so it's either both or none. And I can't make a decision to save my life. So I'm still on the fence about it, so I can be convinced to keep this. I could be convinced to unhaul it and put it on my Vinted if you'll actually want it. So let me know. Next we have the Lady Janey series that I'm getting rid of. We have My Lady Jane, My Plain Jane and My Calamity Jane. Yes, I'm aware these are not in the correct order. And that's by Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. Now, the first book in the series, My Lady Jane, doesn't have a dust jacket, and the second book in the series, My Plain Jane, used to be a library book, so it's got like the stamp on it just here. I don't know if you can tell. And when I tried to take the thing off, it kind of ripped a little bit of the hardback just here, so just like the paper's worn. But overall, I just didn't vibe with this entire story. I get what they were trying to do, but I didn't care. It's got deckled edges and, like, it's cute. Again, I just didn't care about the story, like, at all. So, out she goes. Bye! Sticking with the historical romance vibes, the next 2 that I'm getting rid of are the Linden Sisters duology by Julia Quinn. We have Everything in the Moon and Brighter Than the Sun. I didn't vibe with this. I don't really think Julia Quinn's writing is for me. I love the Bridgerton TV show. I think Shonda Rhimes can do absolutely no wrong, but this just didn't hit for me. So hopefully someone else that is on a Bridgerton kick can get a good time out of this. Another series that I read this year that I just didn't vibe with was the Angel Fall series by Susan E. This is the beautiful Fairy Loot editions with all of the sprayed edges and everything like that, and I just didn't vibe with this. It's very like early 2010s YA, and I feel like I've grown out of that type of YA for now, and it didn't work for me. It was fine, but it's not worth keeping on my shelves. Another duology that I read this year was Gilded and Cursed by Marissa Meyer. These are the beautiful Fairy Loot editions. I just didn't really care for the story. Again, I really liked the first book in the series, but it all kind of fell apart in the second one, and I didn't care, and I slogged my way through the second one. And while I like having them on my shelves because they are absolutely stunning, I just didn't like the story inside. So we have to be brutal, and we have to like actually not keep books that we only gave like 1 or 2 stars. Like, it's not happening. Out it goes. And finally, to end this video on a positive note, I'm getting rid of a couple of duplicates, and for this I'm getting rid of The Cruel Prince by Holly Black and The Wicked King. Now, I have the very pretty Fairy Loot editions of these, so I'm just getting rid of these ones so someone else can enjoy this series as much as I did. And that is all 48 of the books that I plan to unhaul in this video. That is a lot of books. So if you got this far into the video, then leave a trash can, bin, waste paper basket type of emoji in the comments down below. But for now, thank you so much for stopping by. It has been lovely having you here, and I hope to see you in another video coming very soon. Bye.